Welcome back to the Chronicles of an African Diaspora Nurse, the Return. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm very glad today to be hosting a returning guest. In fact, he is the first medical doctor that I interviewed on this channel about 7 months ago in August 2021. And he's none other than Dr. Paul K.A. Mensah, who is a retired consultant obstetrician and gynecologist who worked with the NHS Scotland in UK. If you haven't yet watched that video, I'll put it in the description box below so you can watch it. In addition to working on health and education projects in Ghana, he's also written a book which is hot off the press. So I'll let him tell us a bit more about the book later on. Dr. Mensah, welcome back. It's always nice to have you and have a chat with you.
Well, thank you for having me back. Yes, I've been watching all your other programs, interviewing other guests. Very impressed. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So I know you just returned from Ghana. And how long were you in Ghana for?
Oh, this is the longest I've been in Ghana since I've been in the UK. Normally, I will go maximum of a month. Usually, it's actually 2 weeks. But this time, I was there for nearly 4 months.
I thought so.
I was 3
months
and 3 weeks.
I was wondering, I said, what are you up to? So tell us. Because the last time we met and we had a chat, yeah, you had so many projects planned or in the pipeline. There was something about Salt Pond Hospital. There was the VVF, and I know you were working with schools as well. So just, yeah, I'm all ears. We want to hear.
On this visit, it was mainly to do with the schools project. But that was not at the, just neglecting the other thing that we talk about. Yeah. The VVF project back for the northern part of Ghana stalled a little bit because of the COVID. We couldn't get all the fundraising events to be able to raise the funds that we needed. So that went on the back burner just a little bit. The Salt Pond Hospital project is ongoing. Actually, I was sort of the middleman, if you like, between the Infantsman Old Girls Association of the UK and the hospital. So advising both sides, and that continued because when I was in Ghana, they got to a point where they needed to have an architect, and I had a friend who's an architect, and so I spoke to him, and he went over to the hospital, spoke to the administrators, and got things sorted out. And we kind of communicated by WhatsApp between the hospital authorities and the Infantsman Old Girls Association UK and myself. And actually, I went to the hospital myself just to go and take a look around. I didn't go officially. I didn't meet the administrator. I wanted to see things for myself with any administrators around me. And so that was that side of things. But I spent most of my time actually on the school projects, which I'm sure you would like me to tell you about.
Yes, I love the schools. I used to be a school health nurse many years ago when I was in Ghana. So we'll go and do school health education, health education, health promotion, school hygiene inspection. So I have a special soft spot for schools, especially primary schools. So tell us about the school and what you are doing to support the school.
Okay. I've always loved education. I mean, it's education that gave me the breakthrough in life. Obviously, my parents helped me out, but education was the gateway. So I've always loved education. But my village, which is Ekurabadze in the central region, is a very small village. It's a poor village. But the school in the past was a good school because that was the family school. That's where the family the family went, although I was there for only a short time. So 5 years ago, I was in Ghana. Was it 5? Maybe 4 years ago, I was in Ghana. I visited the school, and I didn't like what I saw because the roof was leaking. The place was in quite a bit of state of disrepair, but not too bad. And so I decided that at some point in the future, I was going to go back and renovate the school. And so over a period of time, I kept some money aside for that project. And then the COVID thing came. So I couldn't obviously travel to Ghana. So I went this time for the sole purpose of going, looking at what the state of the school was and renovating. Because I wanted to give the children a chance. The school didn't look too great. And I have to tell you, Rita, when I got there, I had one of the shocks of my life because the school was in an absolutely terrible state.
Yeah. Can I just clarify? Is it a school that you attended to when you were in the village, when you were young?
Well, there's a story about that in the book, so I'll leave you to.
Okay.
I'll leave you to read that. But let's say I was in the village for 3 years, and then things started happening, and then I was quickly moved away to Kumasi to go back to my parents. I was with my grandmother in the village, but that was where I was.
Yeah, the reason why I asked was I wanted to know if you had stayed there to look, to see what has changed, the experience then and now, whether things have deteriorated or because I the video I recently did with a teacher in Northern Region, and I kept thinking back to when I first went to class 1 in a small town. We had books, we had everything, we had a classroom, we had every resources that we needed.
Yeah, that's right. No, things have changed, but they hadn't changed in the right direction. I remember the school because every time I go to the village over the years, I always make sure I visit the school. Yeah. I talk to the students and try and find out what's going on. And things were not too bad, but I found out that every time there had been some deterioration in there. Because back in those days, we had the books. Yeah. We had the full complement of teachers. Yeah. The building looked decent, but all that had kind of changed. But as I was saying before, when I got there this time and I went to the school, I felt very sad. Yeah. Because, well, the roof was, really damaged. The classroom, some didn't have doors, some didn't have windows. And you can imagine, because there are no doors and windows, what happens in the night? You got all these animals roaming about, the goats and so on. So they come and spend the night and make a mess. The school had not been painted, I think, for years. So the walls were just incredibly dirty. And even the classroom had potholes. I mean, when I say that, people laugh. I mean, they were big holes. It's like driving on the road and finding potholes. That was the classroom.
Did you just go to see the headmaster, or how did you approach the whole thing, and how did you see the problems?
Yeah, I spoke to the head teacher of the school. So this is the junior high school. So I spoke to the headmaster about it, that this is what I wanted to do. So he took me around, and I think at one point in the course of the tour, I asked him when the students were coming back. That was on a Thursday, and he said they were coming back on the Tuesday. And I said, "You mean they're coming back to sit in this classroom?" He said, "Well, that's all we've got." The place was just absolutely horrible. So as I told him this is what I was going to do, he had a meeting with the teachers, because then they had to find a place for the students to be studying while the work was ongoing. We didn't want to stop their education. So they cooperated with me a lot, and they were able to find some places where the students could study, and we bought some whiteboards for them so they could use for teaching. And then I went to the education education service, the Ghana education offices in Sopon, which is the area. I spoke to the officer in charge of it, and I expressed my disappointment at the state of my village school, because I felt that because it was a poor village, that they would put a bit more resources in. That hadn't happened. But anyway, I told him I was going to work on the project. So the head teacher then wrote a letter to the Ghana Education Service to say this is what was going to happen. But they've got contingency plans. The children's education is not going to be disturbed in any way. The teaching will still continue. But then I realized then that the work involved was a lot more than I thought. I had put aside some money to do it, and I realized immediately you need double that amount of money. You're not going to be able to do this, because I had to change the whole of the roof. So I got a company to come and take it all off and put a whole brand new roof, and that wasn't cheap. But I've got people in the village to help. The carpenters in the village, they came along and volunteered to help. All they needed was a bit of money to buy food and so on. So that was helpful, because I wanted them also to feel a part of it, that they were, they took ownership of it as well.
That's
so
often,
we got a roof.
Yeah, that's often the case, isn't it? I mean, people should have a sense of ownership and take part. Otherwise, it will be like, something coming from free. Therefore, it won't be valued.
No, they won't value it. And the village elders did well, because the day before the company came to change the roof, they made an announcement they have a system for announcing this, and they said they wanted all the carpenters in the village and also the surrounding areas around Ekurabadze to come and volunteer, to come and work and remove the old roof and put the new wooden beams and everything. And they turned up. You see, they did. They all turned up. So that was good to see. That was really heartwarming to see them. So we got the roof done, and then we had to get all the electrical works done, rewired.
Wow, that's another.
I know. I had to. I had bought some fluorescent tubes I was going to use on my own house, where I had to give them all to the school. So we had to do that. The support pillars for the school, well, you could see the iron rods. So then we had to get some masons to do some work, and then also, fill the potholes in the classroom and cracks in the wall. It was quite involved. So I would usually spend a week making sure that I was supervising the work, making sure that it's all done. I would go and buy all that was needed, and then come and work with them and those who are working on the project. And then I'll take another week and then come back to Accra, and then the following week I'll go back and supervise the work. So it took us. Initially I thought it was going to take us about 3 weeks, but it took us 6 weeks, because there was a lot of work involved. And then we finished and got the whole place painted, and you could see the joy on the faces of the of the students as they came. And some of them also came to help during the work.
The students,
they would come. They will come and they will be sweeping the rubbish away whilst the people were working. And some of them helped with the painting as well. They painted the areas where you can't make a mess. But we left the main areas to kind of professional sort of painters. So we did that, and at the end of 6 weeks, the place was done. What is left for the junior high school is to get them some desks, because some of the students are coming to the class with their own chairs and taking them back, and also to get them some computers. I was able to supply. Something interesting happened. One family came to me and said the family said they wanted me to buy books for their kid. So I got my nephew to go and see her and get a list of the books that she wanted for the kid. And then in the evening, we had 11 other families come. So we ended up having to go to Mankasim to buy books for 12 families. And
was it textbooks or exercise
textbooks?
What type of books?
Yeah, textbooks, exercise books, you know, everything that they needed, because the idea was that they were going to get textbook, but nobody knew when they were going to come.
Okay.
And I was keen to get them going, not to be waiting. And the teachers helped because they gave the list of books that were required. So we ended up, instead of one family, we ended up buying books for 12 families. And it was quite interesting. The evening they came to pick their books. They got the books and I stood with them to take a picture. But before, I took a video of them coming out of the house with the books. And then I stood with them to take pictures. And then I said to them, look, you're not taking these books away simply to go and put them somewhere. You're supposed to use them to study, because, you know, one day you could get a teacher out of you could get a nurse, you can get a midwife, you can get a retail assistant, you can get catering officer, you can do. And then the youngest person in the group, after I finished speaking, just shouted, "Amen." Wow. And the whole place burst into laughter. And I look and I said, look at that boy.
He wanted to be
the
so.
Next,
yeah,
he wanted it to be so. It just was so young, and the innocence of, you know, shouting. Nobody said anything. He was the only one who said something.
It will go a long way. It might seem that, oh, this is just textbook or that, but you never know the impact that is making. And I'm sure it will go a long way to help them in their learning. And the ICT, the ICT room that you mentioned. So are you planning to build like a computer lab and supply them with computers?
Yes, that's right. So so we got all the wiring and the blocks and things all done. We got a place where we can put the decks, so they can. We got a new board for the classroom. So since then, obviously I've been speaking to my friends about. Well, I put photos and things on WhatsApp groups, and people know what I'm doing. I have to add here that a lot of my classmates from secondary school and from medical school have been absolutely over generous with donations. You know, some of the donations have come and said, actually, when I got there, I was shocked because I wasn't expecting that people would give me that much. So I don't want to embarrass them by mentioning their names, but so that was quite helpful. But just yesterday, somebody got in touch with me and said he's spoken to the company he works with, and there's a chance that they will supply all the computers that are needed.
That's really, you know, when you were talking about all these things, in my back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, you're using your money, or there should be an avenue to raise funds. But I'm glad that you've got friends and you've got people who like-minded people, you know, who know the need that is out there and are willing to contribute to ensure that even if they don't go, like we say in our Kan proverb, which literally means if you can't be there physically, you know, your funds can go travel ahead of you and make a difference. So that it's really encouraging to hear that.
Very encouraging. As I say, some of the money that was given to me, I was surprised about that, because you know they were generous. They were generous with the money. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get these computers. One of my mates in the United States, his twin daughters have also said they will supply me with 4 computers. So I think we're going to be that we're going to get there.
More.
So yeah, we're going to get there. So before I left, I got desks for the teachers, because the desks they were using in the classroom were just deplorable. So I got desks for them. So at least they will also be comfortable teaching them. So all this time, I never went to the primary school because I thought if I go to the primary school, I might not do anything, because I suspected the primary school could be equally bad. So when we finished painting and we're about to hand over back to the head teacher, then I thought, okay, this is the time for me to go to the primary school. Oh my. I got there and I said to myself, well, that's the reason why I didn't come here, because it's as bad as the other side. Everything needs, apart from the roof, everything else needs working on. So I've started that. I've started putting ceilings in. The next stage when I go back in towards the end of the year will be to go and try and finish the primary school. And that's why I'm trying to sell some books.
Okay. We'll come to your book, but I just wanted to I mean, reflecting on everything that you've said, and how you go to Ghana and come back. I've always had this view that, when they talk about the diaspora coming back home to contribute to the development of the nation, through healthcare, delivery, education, everybody's journey is different. We have people who dramatically just pack and go. We have people, it's different. And I think it's important to look at the work that goes on in the diaspora, inside here, where people go and they are doing little things here and there, like what you are doing, building the bridges, going, coming, doing, surveying what's going on. You get to know the system, you get to have contacts, you get to build relationships. And therefore, when you eventually move, and that is what everybody sees in the end, that, oh, this person has moved and come. They are not aware of all the journey, what started up until now. So it's really important to put that out there, that it's a journey, and then the return, it's a process, and it's different for everyone.
No, I've come to love. I actually love what I've done, and you are right, because it's over the years when I've been going home, I've been looking at what is needed there. It's just that I knew they needed help, and I have spoken to the teachers in the past about wanting to help the school. Just that when I got there this time, there's a lot more work to be done. But yeah, you go there, you build bridges with the village, the elders. Maybe in a nice way, try and get them to be involved as well. That there are little things that they could do. For instance, it doesn't take much to put a door on a classroom to stop goats from going to into the classroom. So those were the things. But you were talking about, you mentioned something about impact. And something interesting happened when I was there, because after they came and collected the books, on a Sunday morning, I was walking to the school because they were not working on the Sunday. So I wanted to go and have a look and see what's left, so that I can plan for the Monday. And I saw a young boy ahead of me, and his head was looking on the ground, but he was walking and his hands were in front of him. And the first thing that came into my head was, why is this young boy praying? He's walking and it's as if he's praying. And I thought, oh, what could be worrying a little boy at this early stage, early time in the morning, to be walking and praying? So anyway, I walked faster and I got to him. And you know what he was doing? One of the textbooks, he was reading it.
Whilst walking.
While he was walking. So it told me one thing, that the motivation to study and to improve their lot in life is there. It's just that they need the encouragement, the resources, and somebody telling them they can do it, showing an interest in them. That boy's story will never leave me.
Yeah.
So I called the book from him, and I look at the chapter where he was reading, and I look at ask for his name, and I was just marvelous, you know. Yes, I've got a book, you know. It's not lying down somewhere. So he's walking on the street and he's reading.
It's mine. Yeah.
So
That's really
that is an
beautiful, yeah.
impact already, you know. It's an impact. And I spoke to some of the girls because my concern has been for the girls, to be honest. Well, I'm concerned for both the boys and the girls, but the problem in the village is that they're not getting good quality education. They're not qualifying to go to senior secondary school.
Yeah.
In the past, when they used to do, I used to give scholarships and pay for their senior high school education, and some got the scholarship and done very well. But now they're not even passing to go for you even to pay for them, you know. But I used to speak to the girls because they end up in the village, and at the age of 16, they're pregnant. By the age of 18, they've got 3 kids, and their life is completely ruined. And I really want them to. I want both of them. I want both the boys and the girls to get good education. But you know, the boys will leave the girls in the village with the kids, and then they disappear to Takoradi, Accra. They go and start a new life. Yeah. And these girls are left in the village, you know, and they break my heart when I see them. So you know, I talk to them. I've got some of my medical school mates, the ladies, to do videos that will be shown to the girls. Yeah. Really to encourage them that, you know, some of them have come from the same sort of background, but with focusing on the education and looking to the future. They've been able to do something with their lives, and they don't have to end up in a village with 10 kids, you know, who then come and struggle and carry on with that cycle of poverty. So I speak to them, and I know they are, you know, they work hard given the resources. And I'm really hoping that, you know, in the next 4 or 5 years, that the whole atmosphere in the school and the village will change in terms of education. And I'll keep supporting that.
Yeah, I think you're right, because like you said, when the learning resources are there, it makes learning enjoyable. But if it's not there, you know, you can't even have a desk or chair to sit on. You can't have a textbook. So I can imagine it for the children, and they just have to do with what they have. That sounds interesting, and hopefully the lab will be, the computer lab will be done, and these children will be able to, you know, use computers as well. So the book, you know, I just had a brief read about. I haven't read the book yet, but just a brief like summary about what it's about, and it's about your life.
Well,
so you are a doctor and you're writing about your life. So what is the aim of the book? Not that you can do it as a doctor, but
I understand where you're coming from. I've been asked this question several times, so it's obviously a question that people are interested in. But to be, you know, let me tell you the story about the book. When I started putting pen to paper, it wasn't meant to be writing a book.
Yeah.
I had been telling my children when they were young stories about my childhood.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of the experiences, and basically they had, if they're listening and they don't mind me saying so, they've had a kind of a privileged upbringing, you know, being brought up in the UK, and mother is a nurse and father is a doctor. So, but, you know, I didn't have it that way, but I won't change it for anything. I look back on my childhood and I enjoy it so much. And if I had my chance, I would really live it again. You know, so I started writing those things down for the children, but also for my nephews and nieces, because I like telling stories about some of my escapades and stuff like that. And then I went to the US to visit a friend of my classmate, Professor Kwesi Bentum. I've known him since we were 13. We've been friends ever since. And I showed him the draft, and he read it. And he said, this has to be a book.
Exactly.
And I said, well, there's not a lot in there. I said, well, that's the point. You need to add some more to this. So that's what I did, and he will proofread it for me. And COVID time, we used to do Zoom and go over various things. So gradually, we kind of got the book. So it is true. So now we got the book, and it tells about my story. But I didn't start with the idea that I'm famous, I'm going to write a book about myself. No. It was more for the family. And then it grew into this. But I've come to like it now that is done.
So what do you want the book to achieve? If I'm reading the book, obviously I'm just thinking, if it's a life story, then there are lessons to be learned.
Yes, well, the title of the book, I don't know whether you can see from here. Maybe not. Yeah,
I can see, but it's a bit. It says
okay, anyway, I'm going to read it through. The title of the book is Breaking Through the Will and the Ability to Go Forward. Okay. Now, you might think, where did that come from? Actually, the first chapter of the book tells about when I was in Form 1 in the old middle school system, when we got textbooks. We had new textbooks. We've left primary school, we got to middle school, we were given new textbooks. And there was an English textbook. It's called the English course for West African schools.
Oh,
so I took it home. So we were asked to take the books home and then cover them with brown paper. And then bring them back the following day. But I started reading it. And it was the story of a family, Aluko family.
Aluko family, I remember.
You remember? Right, okay. Don't give your age. And then it's so I started reading the story, and I enjoyed it so much that I read the book as a storybook, not as an English language textbook, because I didn't do any of the exercises. So, But there was a scene in the book when young Aluko passed the common entrance examination to go to secondary school from a village like my village. And his parents brought his uncle, who is an educated man, to come and talk to him and give him advice before he goes to this big city boarding school, going to mix up with all the, trying to tell him where he's come from, his background, not to waste his life and all sorts of things. And then he made a statement that the world is full of opportunities for those who have the will and the ability to go forward. And that sentence just hit me. And I said, oh, what does it mean? So I kept thinking about it. And it stuck with me all my life, that the world is full of opportunities. If you have the will and you have the ability, you can go forward. So I put the breaking through there to say, even for somebody like myself who comes from, in the UK, they will call it working class background, whatever. I don't think that's correct. But anyway, that you can still break through, if you have the ability and the will, and you apply yourself. Obviously, you need support along the way. So that's the whole essence of the book, how I started it. And so the idea is that if somebody reads the book, and I see if a young person reads the book, then they could be encouraged that no matter what their background is, there's still opportunity for them. I'm not saying everybody should become a doctor. No, that's not the idea. The idea is that wherever you want to go in life, there's still the possibility that if you apply yourself,
you can achieve it.
You can achieve it.
I think so as well. And I can't wait to read about the escapades. When we were kids, we used to go and pluck mangoes. And anyway, that's what came into my mind. I said,
yes, there's a chapter where being chased from people's gardens, where we jump the wall to go and
we won't give it away. So if somebody wants a copy of the book, where would they get it?
Oh, okay. At the moment, the book has just appeared on Amazon.
Okay.
But because I had to self-publish, because no publisher would take it on because we haven't published before. They don't know whether the book will be successful or not. So it's difficult to get a publisher. So I had to publish it myself. That is, I had to fund everything myself. And so one of the advice I was giving was, okay, you've done this way, get a limited number of copies that are like a limited edition copies before the kind of mass production. So at the moment, the book is on Amazon, but the limited edition copies are in Ghana and in the UK. So basically, when people want the books, they get in touch. I post it to them in the UK.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing. So, and most people want it autographed. So I've been signing, and my wrist is.
I'm waiting for mine.
Yes, yours will be in the post tomorrow.
Thank you.
And so basically, you can get it on Amazon.
Thank you very much. But I also know that there's another reason why for the books.
Yes.
Selling the books.
Because because during the COVID time, my nephew was sending me pictures of what the state of the school.
Yeah.
So that actually gave me the impetus to say, get the book going, and then you can sell the books.
Yeah.
You get your initial investment back and anything else that comes as profit, but everything will go back to the school. The initial investment which I put in for the school anyway, and any profit that comes along, everything is going to the school, the junior high school, and then when I finish, I'll do the nursery as well, because the nursery building is it's not fit for human use. So that's one reason for during the COVID time really working hard to try and get the book published so it can fund the ongoing work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's sacrificial work you are doing. And one thing I have learned in this kind of job is that once you have the passion and you take a step, help comes from where you don't expect it to come. So I will say kudos and wish you well in the upcoming projects, and any way that we can support, we will. So
thank you very much.
You said that you'll be going to Ghana again at the end of the year.
Yeah, before the end of the year.
Okay.
So I spent 4 months in Ghana. I think this time when I go, I'm going to spend 6 months. I'll be getting used to the place. Long term, I'm going to go back to Ghana. There's no question about it. I'm going to go to Ghana. I'm going to stay in Ghana, and of course, I've got children and grandchildren here, so I'll be coming to visit. But my base will be in Ghana, and I'll spend more time in the village, trying to see whether I can mentor these students.
Thank you, and as they say, more grease to your elbow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and
thanks for having me, and thank you for the work you're doing as well, because you're getting people exposed, and hopefully others will see what other people are doing and they'll be motivated. I have to say that 2 people have contacted me, and they're already planning to go back and renovate their primary schools.
Oh, out of what you did?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Like 2 people who are actually 3. Recently there's another one from the States who phoned me and said, he said, I'm reading your book. It's like the story of my life where the dates are different. So I'm going to do the same for my school. So actually there are 3 people who, on the basis of what I've done, and so hopefully the proceeds from the book will help me to finish the primary school, the nursery, and then who knows what comes next after that.